Star Wars Starfighter is set to go into production in about a month in September of 2025 this year. Casting is slowly leaking. We got the Matt Smith news, Mia Goth, and of course our lead Ryan Gosling. But who will Mia Goth and Matt Smith be playing? Hello, everyone. Welcome to Digital Charcuterie. My name is James. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you like Star Wars and looking forward to Star Wars Starfighter, hit that subscribe button. We're going to be talking about it as much as we can. And of course, the Mandalorian and Grogu movie we'll be discussing as well on this channel. I love Star Wars. Been talking about it forever on the YouTubes. And here I am today talking about Star Wars Starfighter from Shawn Levy, who is a director who is a safe bet of a director. If his movies, he seems to hit with audiences. Most of his films, he's had a couple duds here and there, but nothing drastic, nothing to panic over. And especially after Deadpool and Wolverine, you can really see why Disney would want to work with him again, and Lucasfilm would take him. And he seems to have this idea. And about a year ago or so, or whatever, Ryan Gosling was confirmed to star as the lead in this. We don't know any names because, God forbid, we know anything about any movie that's happening in the Star Wars universe at any given time. We still haven't seen anything officially from The Mandalorian and Grogu, and it's coming out in less than a year. But I digress. Look, at the same time, I'm going to go see these things, so I don't really need to know right now. But it's strange how much we've seen from Spider-Man Brand New Day versus anything Star Wars related. And Star Wars is in a little bit of a rough patch with fans. You go on YouTube, you can't find a positive Star Wars in the comments right now. I can't wait to see the people that are here just to tell me that they don't like Star Wars. So thanks for stopping by. But look, this movie, so the rumor of this movie is that it's going to be Ryan Gosling and his nephew, and they're going to be on an adventure in space. And they will be chased by two villains. And those villains right now are reportedly going to be Matt Smith and Mia Goth. Now, Matt Smith and Mia Goth, nobody knows who they're going to play, but it's rumored they're the villains. I guess nothing concrete or official has come out to suggest whether or not they are. But all reports, all the scoops are indicating that they're going to be the villains. And I believe Variety, somebody wrote an article that Matt Smith was going to be playing the villains. So it's officially unofficial, but it's official. Mia Goth, so when you look at it, you're like, okay, well, Matt Smith was supposed to play a former clone, or a young version of CVP Palpatine. That was a rumor for Rise of Skywalker. There's also some other rumors that he was going to be a different character. But either way, he got removed from the film. I think it was a scripting process. They were like, oh, by the way, we don't actually have a role for you. Thanks for coming out. But now he's back in the fold. So he's going to be in this, and Mia Goth is going to be the villain. They're going to be chasing after Ryan Gosling and his nephew. Why? For what for? We don't know. It sounds a little bit like Skeleton Crew, which I think was a fantastic show. If you haven't seen Skeleton Crew, do yourself a favor and check it out. It's not like Andor like that, but it's a lot. It was a lot of fun. It's like 8 episodes. It's just a blast. And it has a pretty, it ends. It has a pretty good ending. You feel satisfied when the thing concludes. So I would suggest watching Skeleton Crew. But and Shawn Levy can excel at that. He's a big fat liar. I got to keep bringing up big fat liar, but he did that. And, he's kind of got the John Watts quality of directing. They're very similar directors in a lot of ways. They're working with younger castings and stuff like that. So I'm excited for that. But these two villains intrigue me. Now, Jeff Snyder in his newsletter is scooping and reporting that Matt Smith will not be playing a Sith Lord. He will not even have the Force or the Force ability whatsoever. He's going to be non-Force sensitive, which I say that's a good thing. Look, I love the Force, and I hate it when people are like, Star Wars doesn't need Jedi. You know what? It does. Like Andor proved it doesn't, but also Andor did mention the Force, and they kind of had elements of it. And I think, for Star Wars to separate itself from just a generic sci-fi, hello Valerian, you got to embrace some of the stuff, like some of the Force aspects of it in Jedi. You should embrace it. You should do better jobs than they have with some stuff and whatever. But the point is, I think you need to embrace that. But at the same time, not everybody has to be Force sensitive. I think, you have your Luke, and then you have Han. I don't want Han to have the Force. I didn't want Finn to have the Force either. I know Boyega did, and if he wanted, that's his call. But for me, I don't need these characters to have the Force. You got Rey. Rey's got that's fine. Rey's got the Force, that's fine. Finn could be the best character in The Force Awakens by a landslide and not have the Force. And then when he gets the Force, he's not the best character anymore. Finn, look, side Akbar. Finn was my favorite character in The Force Awakens, and he just got pushed aside in the next two, and it was just really depressing to watch because he was great in the first one. But anyway, not everybody has to be Force sensitive, but Jeff Snyder in his newsletter, which you should subscribe to, is saying, hey, Matt Smith is going to be an Imperial. Military general is the term to use there. And that really makes me excited. Like Grand Moff Tarkin, like, because Tarkin, even when you're a kid watching it, you don't realize it, but Tarkin is the big bad villain of A New Hope. That's what you want. Even Domhnall Gleeson, I think, could have been probably could have been toe to toe with Tarkin in some ways, but his character just was never given that. It just wasn't. It felt flat for me. That's what happened, especially at the end. I think him being the traitor really could have worked out. But anyway, that's besides the point. So you're gonna have him as an Imperial, but that leaves off Mia Goth. And why are they chasing this uncle and nephew? Like, what do they have? What is going on? Are they one of them? Are they both somebody there Force sensitive? Do they have an artifact that maybe somebody needs? I don't know if it's going to be Imperial. I shouldn't have said Imperial, but it's going to be like a military type agent. So why do they want to go after this uncle and nephew? But why do they want to go after them? What do they need? And that's when I'm really curious about Mia Goth's character, because I think she is going to be the Vader to Matt Smith's military general. I think Mia Goth is going to be the cool villain. Matt Smith is going to be the low-key, monotone, like straight up, buttons all the way up. Like he does everything he's supposed to do with structure. And Mia Goth is going to be like, force choke. Maybe not force choke, but some people are thinking maybe she's the Sith Eternalist, which could be cool. But I don't think they're going to play in that wheelhouse at all. I think a lot of those sequel trilogy things that came in, I know they might be before and whatever, but I think some of that stuff they're not going to use. I don't think they're going to go that deep. I really don't think. I think they're going to play with the lore, but I don't think they're going to go that deep into the lore. I think she'll be. I don't think she'll be referred to as a Sith. I think she will have Force powers, and she'll probably be like an evil Force power wielder. But the question again is, what the hell does that kid have, and why do they want to go after the kid and the nephew? So somebody's struggling, coming up on something. I'm thinking, there's good. I actually think, because everyone wants to compare it to the Starfighter books that were out, but I don't think it's going to have anything to do with those. I think the title is a complete coincidence, much like Rogue Squadron, because they don't seem to know the name of their own properties. So I think it's going to be an original story, but I think it's going to be very similar to like an Indiana Jones type thing, or like Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones, and Short Round. I think we're going to have a dynamic like that maybe playing out, and maybe they get themselves wound up in a situation we don't know. But other reports are also saying, and this is the casting that nothing has been even like leaked or reported or talked about with this, but the mother character of the boy is said to be of grave importance. That's a rumor going around, is that she's going to be very, very important and integral to the plot. Maybe she's the Luke Skywalker of The Force Awakens in this. I don't know. But that, so maybe they're trying to get to her, and these two villains need to get to her as well, and they're using these two to get there, or need to stop them from getting to her, much like, they were trying to stop Rey from getting to Luke. It could be like that. It could be a little bit like that, but the reason is what's that? And I think if they announce, they might not even announce, but when they announce the casting of the mother figure for the nephew, I think there's going to be a lot more, the wells are going to explode with water, and we're all going to be drowning in speculation, which is fun. And that's what Star Wars is all about, is drowning in speculation. But I think Mia Goth is going to be some kind of dark side user. Probably won't hear the word Sith at all, because they seem to be afraid of that for the most part. But I think she'll be a dark side user. And I like Matt Smith as a military general Imperial dude, because I think he's going to nail that role. He's going to have a lot of fun. I think he's going to eat the scenery with that. And then you have Ryan Gosling and the nephew. And I'm really curious also to see who's going to play the nephew. Not that it really matters. We don't know the age roots. This is all rumor too. Maybe there is no nephew, but I think it's going to be a fun adventure. I think it's going to be more in the vein of Skeleton Crew than of Andor, which is going to drive fans mad, I think, because I think a lot of the older fans, because this is the problem with Star Wars, right? It's a 50-year-old franchise. And the 50-year-olds who were, 3-year-olds or whatever, when Star Wars came out, all of a sudden it's like, this isn't my Star Wars. I want Star. So they've matured, and they want Star Wars to mature with it. But then the kids that are getting into Star Wars want Star Wars to be for kids. But kids like different things than they did 50 years ago. It's a really hard property to navigate right now for them. Actually, I think it's really easy. Make a damn good movie, and we'll all show up and we'll support it. That's what I think. We're not going to have any idea what that is for quite some time now, at least 2 years. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think Mia Goth is going to be playing a Force-sensitive individual, a dark side Force-sensitive individual? And what do you think of Matt Smith, right now, according to Jeff Snyder, playing a military general in Star Wars Starfighter. Thanks everybody for watching. I really appreciate it. Give us a like and a subscribe. And until next time, may you be the master of your own universe.